After struggling with the last recipe, I was curious to see how this burger would perform. And on paper, this one is much clearer. This is Kitchen Diaries Cookbook Cook-Off. Now, in order to make this as fair as possible, I'm gonna be using the same of a few things. I'm going to use the same quality of beef. I'm also going to use the same pan and the same heat. I'm also going to make sure I follow each recipe as clearly as possible to what is written in the cookbooks. Only when I really need to will I make a slight change and edit. Now on to the ingredients. The French onion burger is using 300 grams of lean beef, while the other burger is using 600 grams, twice the amount of the first burger. Both burgers will use Worcestershire sauce and salt. Both will also use eggs, although one will use 1 egg and the other will use 2 eggs. Both will also use onions, however, the amount will vary. The French onion will use garlic and ginger, while the other burger will use red peppers. The French onion burger will use breadcrumbs, while the other burger will use stale bread. The French onion burger will also use half a cup of cooking cream, while the other burger will use milk instead. The French onion burger uses mozzarella cheese, while the other burger uses Gouda cheese. For the French onion burger, we also have some butter, white wine vinegar, white pepper, light soy sauce, fresh coriander, some extra onions for the sauce, garlic for the sauce, tomato ketchup, thyme, rosemary, some crushed black pepper, chilies. You need some sliced onions for the toppings, some gherkins for the toppings, and of course lettuce for the toppings also. Now let's go ahead and prepare the patties for the French onion beef burger. Let's go ahead and put in our onions, garlic, ginger, breadcrumbs, coriander, half a teaspoon of white pepper, pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons light soy sauce, our egg. Give this a good mix. Now, after mixing them, I then divide them into 100-gram balls. I'll go ahead and put this in the fridge as I start on the other burger. For the double burger, I'm going to soak my bread into the milk. Then I leave it for 10 minutes. As that happens, I need to put all the other ingredients into one bowl. Onions, red pepper, eggs. I meant to use half a teaspoon of chili powder. However, since the rest of my family doesn't take chili, I'm only going to use just about a quarter teaspoon. Just like it says you can use 1 to 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I'm only going to use just 1 so that it doesn't overpower me. 1 teaspoon of dry thyme, 1 teaspoon of dry rosemary. I will squeeze off our bread and add it in. Combine this well. And then we are meant to season this to taste. So that's not really helpful, but I crushed pepper. I then roll them into 4 very huge balls, each weighing about 260 grams. I then went on to prepare my creamy onion sauce. Then I went on to assemble both burgers. I'll have to say, neither of them look the way they look in cookbooks. However, I hope the taste will still be good. How does that look? This here is one huge, really huge. Way bigger than my buns. That's how that one goes. Okay, so let's start with this one. Oh, it's pretty cheesy. Okay. On to number 2. Okay. That was a good battle. Now it's time for the results. When it comes to the clarity of the recipe, I found that both books explained things very well and pretty straightforward. When it came to the ease of cooking the recipes, I found that both recipes were pretty easy to follow, and as long as you have all the ingredients you need and you just follow the steps, you should be good. Now, since this one seems pretty tight, it all comes down to number 3, how each of them tastes. And if I had to be honest, is one that tastes way better than the other one, and that is the French onion beef burger. Yes, that's right, it was able to redeem itself after the last dish. This time the burger tasted absolutely amazing. Especially that sauce, it took the burger to a whole different level. The double cheeseburger also tasted good. However, although the double burger was more moist, I feel like it could have done with a bit of salt and pepper, which the author brought it down to seasoning to the personal taste. However, it would have been good to at least have a base, because what happened is I ended up putting less seasoning than I would have liked it. And there was no way to taste because I don't want to taste raw meat, so I couldn't tell whether the seasoning was right or not. The last question is whether I would cook these dishes again. For the French onion beef burger, definitely I would cook this again, and I will definitely cook it again. For the double cheeseburger, to be honest, I don't think I would cook this recipe again in the same format. I would probably change a few things up to make it more lively and taste better. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you wondered whether it would be better to boil your meat first, then fry it, or to fry it first and then boil it? That is what we'll be finding out next time.